Hello everyone and welcome to this latest episode of Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark. Hope you're doing well, and I've got a tag for you today. Berner at Berner's Bookish Adventures did a triple tag Tuesday and kindly tagged me in all three of her tags. Now one of them was the pet peeves tag, which I've already done, but instead of doing two together, because I do have a tendency to ramble on, as you know, I'm just going to choose one to do today and then probably the other one next week on Tuesday. But the one I'm going to do today is the Soggy Expat Book Maniac Random Questions tag. And it's an original tag by Sean the Book Maniac and Soggy Expat Book Nerd. So yes, there are 10 prompts for this. There's not a prompt to tag people, but I'm going to anyway. So I will tag Gina Stanier Books, Shelley Swearingen, Vinnet Revenant Reads, Sean D. Standfast, and who should I tag? Who else? Let's go with Steve Donahue. Why not? He may have done it, he may not have done it, I'm not sure. But I'll pop him in there. And of course you, if you haven't done it and would like to do it. So, let's start off then. The prompts. Number one, soggy. Cold, soggy fries. Yay or nay? Well, I'm afraid it's a nay from me. I don't like cold, soggy French fries or cold, soggy chips. I don't mind soggy chips so much as long as they are warm. Because, I quite like being very English about it and dousing my chips in vinegar and that kind of thing. So I don't mind that so much, but I don't like them cold. No. Number two, expat. Have you ever lived abroad? If not, would you? Well, I have lived abroad. I'm living abroad. I live in the Czech Republic. I'm 42 years old and I've spent around collectively 12 years in the UK, which is the country of my birth. The rest of the time I've lived in, I think, total 7 countries. So that would be the UK, Bermuda, Sweden, Germany, Japan, Hong Kong, and now the Czech Republic. So China, Hong Kong, now the Czech Republic. So yeah, and I recommend it. It's good. It's good fun. Number 3, book a trip you took and or would like to take because a book or author made you want to see it in person. This was really tough because there are loads of them. There are loads of them, and I've done a few, I think. I was trying to think what though. But there are books that have inspired me to visit Berlin, for example. But one I would really like to do was inspired by Paul Theroux, The Great Railway Bazaar, which I read many years ago. And it's about his train journeys through Asia using the Trans-Siberian and others. And it was fascinating to me, and I haven't done that yet. I have taken a few trains in Asia. So, I've taken trains in China and I've taken trains in Japan, for example, but I haven't done the Trans-Siberian, which I would love to do one day. Of course, probably it's not advisable at the moment, but there we go. Number 4, also book. A book or author from Canada and or Wales you'd like to read. I can't. No one sprung out at me. No alternative jumped out at me other than the one I'm going for. But I think he's probably a very good author that I haven't read yet that I'd love to read, and he is from Canada, and this author would be Sean D. Standfast, a good friend of mine from BookTube here, and he is an author. So if you aren't aware of it, he has got a published book, a book of poetry, Dark Passages. Check it out, go buy it, make him happy. I have listened to some of the poems that he's read from that on his Poetry Sunday, and he's excellent, really. But I haven't read the whole book, so I need to. So he would be the author from Canada that I would choose. Number 5, random embarrassing parent story time. A time your parent/guardian embarrassed you to your core and you're still recovering, or a time you were that parent. Well, I'm only a parent to a 5-year-old border collie, Elvis, who is watching me. But I was trying to think of this. I cannot remember a time when my parents particularly embarrassed me. I think, if anything, I was more the child that caused embarrassment to my parents, because I would, maybe pick up things and not quite understand their private conversations, and then I would blurt things out maybe to people that they had been talking about, and it could be very embarrassing, especially if I got the wrong end of the stick, and yeah, that could be pretty bad. And then I would do things like, I remember getting my I must have been, I don't know, maybe 4 years old. I got my leg caught in a drain pipe on this kind of company housing estate where we lived in Bermuda. And it was like one of these jokes where, first off, it was my friend and I had my leg caught. He went and got his mum and my mum, and they came out. And then it was around the time people were starting to come back from work, so a crowd steadily built up, and there were all sorts of suggestions. Then, of course, my father comes home from work, and he sees the crowd and all this stuff. And in the end, I think they were able to pull it out using a washing up liquid. So, and the worst part is, I always lied about how I got my foot in there. I always said I ran and it fell down. I didn't say that I'd actually deliberately put my foot in there to see if it would fit, but it just wouldn't come out. So that's like one example from the age of 4, and believe me, there are tons, and probably even now still, 30, 35, 36, 37 years later. So yes, that's me. Next, 6, maniac. One or two other things you are a maniac about, aside from obviously being a book maniac. Well, yes, I am a big animal lover, I have to say. I mean, okay, I'm not a vegetarian, but I could well be, and I do think about it. It's kind of hard because I'm currently, dieting, and it's a very protein heavy diet, so it would be difficult to do that immediately, but I'm sure after it's done, I'll be thoroughly sick of meat. But I absolutely love animals, and I'm a maniac for Elvis, to be honest. I don't even go out very much because I don't want to leave him alone, except obviously, of course, to go to work and whatnot. I don't think anything else. No, I can't think. I mean, I did love, of course, my food. I don't know if I was maniac about it. Certain types of food, maybe, but I hope those days are behind me. We'll see. Number 7, random. Have you ever been hideously lost, literally or figuratively? Yes, I have. I remember once again being a child. I was in Sweden. It was probably my first winter there. First time I had seen snow, and I was out with a friend of mine in the forest, and we were supposed to meet later that evening with our families because we were going to some kind of Christmas concert, organized by the school. And this friend and I, we went out into the woods, went out into the snow, and of course got lost, couldn't find our way. We ended up being, extremely late. And another time, I got, myself and 2 friends lost. We were interrailing, traveling around Europe by train, and I studied German both at school and university. So we were in Hamburg, and my friends asked me to buy the train tickets because we wanted to move on to Milan. I don't know if I've said this before. I may have done. We wanted to go to Milan, and I was at the ticket office, and I ordered tickets to Milan. She didn't understand me, so I said Milano, and she said Mirano, and I said okay, yes. So instead of ending up in the big city of Milan, we ended up in a tiny southern Tyrol village, small town of Merano, which of course everybody was really thrilled about. But it turned out to be a happy accident because it wasn't that far away from Verona, which we ended up going to instead. But I did visit Milan eventually, some almost 20 years later. So, and to be honest, I didn't feel I'd missed that much in those 20 years. Number 8, random. A memorable encounter with a stranger. Well, I'm not sure I can talk about that kind of thing on BookTube. No, I mean, I've had some wonderful encounters with strangers, actually. I'm always, quite an outgoing person. I used to be, and I would talk to people, especially if I was traveling, and perhaps we would end up, sitting together or going out for drinks together. Um, I did have quite a good encounter. I suppose I was 18, I was at a school ball or function in some hotel, and it happened that one of the English county cricket teams was staying there, Derbyshire, I think, and they had just won their match, and they were wanting to drink in the area we were drinking, but it had been hired out by us already. So I actually invited them all in, and of course it was turned out to be great fun. So that's a whole bunch of strangers, but yeah, I probably got countless stories really of interesting meetings with strangers. Number 9, random. What did you want to be when you grew up? If you have now achieved that in real life, what's it like to be fantastically stable as an adult? Asking for a friend. Well, I haven't achieved the job I wanted to do when I was a child. I mean, when I was a child of like 5, I wanted to be a dustman or a garbage man because I was fascinated by the rubbish trucks, the garbage trucks, standing on the back, holding on, jumping off, the truck's still moving and that kind of stuff. But I wasn't really encouraged in that way. And then I moved on to wanting to join the Royal Navy. But then I found out, you have to climb high up, and I'm petrified of heights, so that fell by the wayside. I wanted to be a diplomat, and then I didn't want to take the civil service exam, so that fell out. And, it's a happy accident I ended up being a teacher, because in terms of where I am at the moment, what I want, in the process of building a house, got a wonderful dog, fairly comfortable life, then I feel I've achieved what I would have done probably with those things. Anyway, I get to live abroad. So in that respect, I'm very lucky indeed. And number 10, random. Are you a people watcher? Do you have good peripheral hearing? Share an anecdote or 3. I'm definitely a people watcher. I love sitting in cafes, watching people. I do love listening to conversations people have if I can understand the language. I love nosing in on what books they're reading, all that kind of stuff. The only time that I can think of that jumps out at me was once on a train to London, and there were some Japanese people on there, and they were talking about my friend and I, and I can't remember exactly what they were saying, but it was a little bit embarrassing for them, because when we got up to leave, I said to them, well, I can't remember now, but I said in Japanese something like, have a great holiday or bye-bye or something like that. And of course, their faces, they were absolutely mortified. But that was kind of fun because we could just kind of walk past and they knew that I'd understood, a great proportion of what they'd been talking about. So, yeah, which is nice because I have to say sometimes I think some countries, especially if you happen to be a speaker of something like Japanese, Chinese, you never expect a Westerner to speak your language. So you probably speak very freely, but you never know. You never know who can be on that train listening. So, there we have it. So that's it. That's the tag. That's the Soggy Expat Book Maniac Random Questions tag. And I've already tagged some people. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I'll be back soon, of course. I'm sure you can't wait. Do take care, everyone. Enjoy your day. Bye for now.